motions and call for additional states in Nigeria have been in the front burner in the recent days, leading to various groups, representatives, and stakeholders submitting requests for state creation. The issue, however, has pitched on politicians against each other, with some against and some in support. In Plateau State, a federal lawmaker has claimed that the terms of development federal government project is well felt more than the state government, and going further to allude that a 33-kilometer road linking some local government areas in the state were awarded and completed by him without the state input. So why clamor for additional states? So joining us now on the show is Right Honorable Gabriel Dewan, Speaker, Plateau State House of Assembly. I mean, what's your argument here? Are you in favor of not creating additional states, or you're in favor of creating? Because we had a guest yesterday, and the argument we made was, okay, tell us the business case for creating additional states. Your guess is as good as mine. He says it in document. Only God knows when we'll see the documents. What's your take on this matter?
Well, good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, listeners. First, I'm very privileged to be Speaker of Plateau State today. I'm speaking for myself as Right Honorable Dewan, not on behalf of my state per se, but as a lawmaker that I am. The fact is very straight. For me, I'm against any creation of additional state for now. The reasons are very simple. I don't see need of creating more state when we're yet to manage the existing state that we're having. The situation we're having in this country now, for me, I felt we have so many issues that we need to channel our energy and our strength to in order to salvage the nation than creating more state to add more wage bill to the nation when we have a lot of issues that we need to look at as a country. Why are we talking of more states? Have we finished managing the 36 states that we're having now? When many states, we have high rate of unemployment in the country, we have high number of school dropouts, and a lot more. Talk of diseases, talk of infrastructural decay, and so many issues. Why are we trying to add more government burden, more wage bill on the citizenry when we're yet to solve the existing issues? So for me, as a person, I felt creating more states, because if you create more states now, whether we like it or not, that is an invitation for more wage bill, because new government houses will be built, more governors will spring up, more legislatures will spring up, a lot of issues will come up. And I felt that is not necessary for now.
But proponents of it argue that it will, solve the problem of injustices in the states, that some people are left out, and some people are not carried along in the state. What do you say about these arguments?
Well, myself as I speak, I'm coming from a state where we have over 50 ethnic groups. But first and foremost, let's look at it rationally. What is the definition of injustice? Yes, there are a lot of reasons, there are lots of things that make people believe that there are signs of injustice, not even signs. Yes, there are injustices perpetrated in this nation, but that is not the yardstick for creation of more state. Instead, we should come to a round table to discuss and chant way forward. Let's talk about patriotism. We're all Nigerians. We have agreed to be one Nigeria. So if we have agreed to be one Nigeria, what are we talking about? Whether you are Igbo, you are Ngas, you are Yoruba, you are Hausa, Fulani, which whatsoever tribe, wheresoever you come from, as far as you're Nigerian. For me, I think we should channel our strength on preaching unity, treating each other as one entity than issue of creating more state. There's no state today, especially in some part of the country, there's no state today that you create that will still sort issue of injustice. In a family of husband, wife, and children, there's injustice.
All right.
Between two brothers, even twin brothers, there's injustice. So I think what we need to do now is to educate ourselves about morality, understanding what life is all about. And we should also remind ourselves that there's nothing in this life, whether we like it or not, we just have short period of time to enjoy, and when the times come, we join our ancestors. So let's everybody have an opportunity of being given opportunity to be fair and just. And I think that is where our concentration should be than all these petty arguments of creating more states, creating more local government. Have we finished managing the existing one? That is the question.
All right, and that's a fair point. We raised that point yesterday with Senator Jaribe, but he's of the opinion, and I want you to I want to get your thoughts on this, around the heart of why there's a call for a creation of more states, which is marginalization. People feeling like the government is too far, especially when you have states that are very diverse in the nature of the makeup of the states and very, in terms of the population numbers. And so they don't feel that government gets to them. What do you have to say about this? Do you think creation of new states would solve that problem? And in the event that it wouldn't, what would solve that problem? Because there's still that issue of marginalization.
For me, that is not an excuse, because we have government at grassroots level. We have councillors, we have chairmen, we have house members, we have house of reps, we have senators, we have governors before the president. Our government system have been structured from federal, state to local government level. So what are we talking about? If the citizens are not feeling the impact of governance, if the governors are far away from the citizens, what do we need to do is to empower our local governments and our councillors who are so close to the electorates at the grassroots, and people who feel the impact of government. It's not about creation of state. What is the work of the local government? We are made to understand the local government is the government closer to the people. So if it's been established that the governors or the presidency is far away from the citizen, then let's empower our local government. Let's reduce some of the powers vested at the top, down to the grassroots, and the people will feel the impact of the government. I think that is my position, than creating more. Even if you create state today, is it everybody have access to the government house? Go and put the government house in my own village. It's still not everybody in that village that will still access the government house. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? So instead, we should empower our councillors and the local council chairmen who are closer to the electorates. A typical councillor in a remote village today cannot afford to buy a motorcycle, talk more of a car. So it's always with the people at the grassroots. So if it is so, why can't we empower such people so that the people at the grassroots will have direct access to them and feel the impact of the government, than creating more offices of the governors where not everybody can access? Even if the government house is behind your own house, will you be allowed to see the governor? Can you have access to talk to the governor as the first citizen of the state? Those are the issues that we need to look at. Not about issue of, yes, I can say without mincing word that there is marginalization. Without mincing word, I can say that. But that the solution to marginalization in this country is not about creation of more states. For me, instead, we should empower the government at the grassroots, the councillors, the council chairman, and so on. And our people will feel the impact of the governance. That is my position on that.
That's a great take. That's a great take, because I'd like you to expand on it, because as we're talking about marginalization, I want us to get more detailed, because there are ethnic considerations here. And there are some ethnicities who just feel that they can do better on their own, for themselves, by themselves. Now, yes, there's empowering the local government level and so forth. Well, how do we douse this ethnic baiting that seems to be gathering momentum?
Okay, you see, we are talking about marginalization. Most of that agitations come from some of the states like mine and other states that have multi-ethnic nationalities. Now, let's look at it this way. There's no any ethnic group that don't have councillors from their own ethnic group at the grassroots level. Yes, they may not have the capacity to become governor in their states based on their numbers, but they have the capacity to become councillors and local council chairmen within their jurisdiction. So that is the reason why I said we should empower the government at the grassroots. If we empower the government at the grassroots, that is the council and the councillors, and reduce the too much power vested at the top down to the grassroots, that will give ample opportunity for all the tribes or the ethnic nationalities that have been marginalized from the top to have a voice, to have their own representation through their own councillors or their own council chairman at the grassroots level. Because there are some ethnic groups, true, that in the state they belong, they cannot be governor based on their numbers, but they can be councillors. They can be council chairmen within their jurisdiction. So if so, then let's empower the government at the grassroots so that most of those agitations should drastically go down. Many people are crying of marginalization because of the too much power that the government at the top has. And the government at the top, since it's been vested with too much power from our constitution, those that don't have opportunity to occupy such offices at the top feel marginalized because they feel our own can never be there. And since our own can never be there, we cannot be opportune to enjoy that cake up there, because many believe that If you are not in that office up there, already you are not part of the system. And that is the problem. So if it's been addressed properly and the power at the top is being reduced and those at the grassroots where people have access to is being empowered, I think that issue of marginalization will be drastically die natural death by God's grace. I don't know if you understand my point very clearly. Because as I said, in Plateau State today, for instance, like my state, we have over 50 ethnic groups. And among those 50 ethnic groups, only one person can be governor. Are we together now? Only one person can be governor. But I can tell you that there is virtually no ethnic group that don't have a councillor in its own, as its own representation in the local government council.
Okay.
So if all the councillors have been empowered at the grassroots, at the government closer to the people, most of the ethnic groups who are agitating that are being marginalized, I think the voice will drastically go down. That is my take.
Okay. So I hear your argument, and what most of these proponents say is that it's also going to help the economic outlook of the state, this new state created, that people will be able to have access more to their resources. They also talk about unemployment. They say that, if you create new states, you're also going to get a little bit of, more employment. People that have not been employed before will now be employed. There will be new people that will be recruited into the workforce. And these are some of the arguments they made. But let me give you also some arguments that buttress your points. In fact, Willix reports in the late 50s, the Willix reports did not even advocate for creating a lot of states to be able to solve this malaise of marginalization, as it were. In fact, it said it was not going to solve the problem in the long run. But what it advocated for were different regional commissions. And that's where my question is going to. That help me balance the conversation about all the new regional commissions, South-East, South-East Development Commission, Niger Delta Development Commission, and people advocating for state creation. Hasn't that done a lot of work? Hasn't that stemmed the tide? Why are we still talking state creation? We're talking Regional Development Commission. We're talking state creation at any time. Is everything not too much at the same time?
You see, we live in a country where you wake up every day with its own stories. We're in this country where there was a time that agitations was very high on issue of restructuring, regional government, this and that. Day in, day out, changing from one goalpost to another. But let me counter those who are saying if we create more state, more employment opportunity will prevent himself. Let's look at it this way. The problem of Nigeria is not about creation of more states. It's about leadership, transparency, sincerity, and genuine determination to serve. If you create state today, will there be source of income to that state different from the existing source of income in the country? If you create state today, will there be different revenue generated from the citizen of that new state apart from the one being generated now? If you create new state today, the employment opportunity they're talking about, will the employment opportunity fall from heaven to those new states? Are they not part of an existing state now? Why can't those employment be created now by the existing states now? If we have the resources to manage those employment opportunities, why not now? Are they not looking at if you have governor today? Imagine we have additional 36 governors today. Let's assume we have additional 36 governors today. Automatically, we're going to build new 36 government houses. You are going to have 36 governors. You are going to have new state assembly members. You are going to have new local government council chairmen, councillors, commissioners. If you put those wage bills alone, my brother, I'm telling you, we are doing ourselves more harm than good. Those resources is enough to create industries, create more employment opportunities, and manage the existing states that we have now.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe at some other conversation we'll get a chance to be able to explore the fact that we're already having regional development commissions, and why is still a clamor for more states. But thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, the Right Honorable Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly. Thank you for your time.